Hi everyone, here's another interesting video. I wanted to just show something that I've done for cells that are struggling. This right here, this is an old PowerStat variable. I don't even know what you call these things. Anyway, this is it does AC. So this is plugged in here to the trailer. It's kind of like, I always find this funny. It's like the surgeon operating on itself whenever I'm doing this from the trailer. So I'm getting power from the cabinet, coming over to this variable AC generator. And you can see here that it's set to 40 volts. If I spun that all the way around here to 120, that'd be like 100%. And then it actually allows me to go up to 140, which is kind of cool if you wanted to push it above it. But for this operation, I wanted to derate it down to 40 volts AC, okay? And then I have it plugged into my battery charger. So some of you are going to be like, well, shoot, what are you doing here? Why do you have your battery charger running at 40%? Well, and I have it set to 35 amps on the fast charge. You got the 2 amp trickle, then you got the 200 amp, but this is the 35 amps. So by having it at 40 volts, which, by the way, that's 1/3, okay, 1/3 of full voltage. Running that through. Now, I believe you have to do that with an older battery charger. I don't think the new, smarter ones will work this well. But, ta-da! I am charging a single cell. The problem when you have a cell that's starting to go out is you can't really equalize that cell. You can't really get that one cell charged up to the rest of them. And so you'll cycle the main battery. You'll take it down and up and down and up with multiple cycles on the main battery. But if you have one cell that's doing really, really, really bad, then it's hard to really regenerate that cell because he's always lacking. Now, I added a little extra acid to this cell. In addition, I've got my battery charger running, and then right here I have my voltmeter connected so you can actually see. So right now I'm intentionally taking the battery voltage, or I'm sorry, the voltage for just that one cell. I'm taking it to 2.75. 2.6 is a pretty heavy equalization, but this cell is struggling, and so I'm trying to wake it back up. So I'm giving it a good little zap. And if I increase this, in fact, I'll just show you how that works. So it's 2.74. If I come over here, and let's dial this down to, say, 35 volts. Okay. That immediately drops me down to 2.54. Now, eventually, as that cell continues to charge up, it may be where I'm going to have this over here actually dialed way down to 20%. Because 20% is closer to a 6-cell battery when you're doing like a 12 volt. Technically, it would probably, 15, probably just a little bit over 15. So something in that range. That right there would be what you'd normally want your battery charger to be on when you're doing just a normal battery charge. By doing that, it dropped the battery voltage all the way down to 2.2 volts, which you can see that's the issue, is that this cell is just so far behind all the other cells around it. If I measured the voltages on all these other cells, they're in the 2.2 range right now, and so I'm trying to just zap this guy. So anyway, you can see it even dropped down to 2. So this cell is significantly undercharged. It's just not getting a charge like it normally should. So I'm gonna ramp this back up. I think it was about 41. That's where we were. That's going to slowly raise me up, you can see. So what I'm doing is I'm artificially pushing a little extra volts into this cell. Eventually it will level off at the 2.7 range. Now, I want to also just point out, you can see right here, you can see that inner cell connector. That inner cell connector doesn't look very good. And I've had situations where the inner cell connector going down into the cell was bad. And sometimes resoldering or re-welding, I don't know what you'd call that, these inner cell connectors, that can help the posts on the battery to start absorbing power better. Essentially what's happening is this cell has a higher level of resistance. And so because this cell has a higher level of resistance, it's not getting all of the voltage that comes into the battery. These other cells are getting extra power during a charge cycle, and this one is underperforming. So adding acid to it may or may not help. It's kind of just a last-ditch effort. We'll see if this is going to help or not. Sometimes giving it a good wake up can help bring it back to life. So that's what I'm doing right now. The other thing I wanted to mention is that, let's say you had two cells next to each other that were bad. You could do this same thing where you just move the positive over, and then you'd be basically charging two cells. And by doing that, you would again need to dial this in to get to the target charge voltage. Anyway, hopefully this is helpful for somebody out there. I did this on another trailer of mine. Generally speaking, this cell was so far off that it's probably on its last legs. It's going to die. So it may not really be anything that's going to be helping this battery. This front battery right here on this is that crazy trailer I was telling you about. It's got all sorts of problems. This trailer has a bad cell over here. It has a bad cell right here. I'm going to do another video on that bad cell. And then this cell that was kind of about 50% or 75%. That's significantly underperforming, so I'm hoping that this will help bring that cell back to life. And you can see in there you can see how it's getting that extra charge. Those are hydrogen. That little boil that's in there, that's the hydrogen escaping as it's energizing the fluid in the cell. If I turned this off, actually, if I just killed that altogether, we can go up a little higher. It looks like it was a little low. If I kill that all together, within a few minutes, you'd see that cell stop bubbling or boiling. Right now, there's enough of a reaction in there that it'll keep doing it for a little bit. But anyway, yeah, you can see the boiling is slowed down actually. Still doing a little bit, but not as much. Turn it back on. So anyway, there you have it.